How's it going though, mate?
Yeah, all good, all good, all good. This is Omar Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me via Zoom. We got there in the end, Mark. His trainer, Mark Tibbs, who's not in Portugal. I know you was in Portugal. You're back in London now. How comes you came back, Mark?
Well, we had I've been out. I've been backwards and forwards a little bit too much now. As dates keep changing, but that's unfortunate. It's no one's fault. It's just because of the times we're in. And yeah, we had I was working on the 1st of August, from the 1st of August, but I think it got moved to the 8th, and I believe now to the 15th. So I need to come back to see my son because he's started school and whatever. So yeah, I mean, he's out there. Dillian's out there with a competent team with Ruben Tabliaris and Peter Mascarpone, whatever his name is. Sorry, I hate to be rude there. French Italian guy, very very capable in what they're doing of. So they know not to overcook him. Simon Evans is running the sessions from Loughborough University. They're doing a good job. Michael Magic Hands. I love working with Michael. Yeah, he's a good guy. And so yeah, he's got a good competent team out there. And Zab, boxing coach from IQ Boxing, they're all overseeing stuff and ticking him over.
Seems like a sensible decision Dylan made at the start of this lockdown period, where he went to Portugal and kind of envisioned what was going to happen here. Because if he was stuck in London, he wouldn't have been able to get all this training in.
Yeah, well, wherever we are, and Dillian himself, we've got contacts. He's got the space to do what he wants to do. If he was in England, and we would have done it, we would have got it done. But Portugal is a perfect location, I've got to say, for a training camp. What I've seen of it, I've spent a week and a half, a couple of weeks there, is perfect, and a great location, great setup, great people over there, and this COVID's affected the world the way it's affected it, but I think we can see light at the end of the tunnel now. I think so, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Mark, before I come on to Povetkin and other fights that Dylan could be in a boxing ring, let me ask you about all this talk with Francis Ngannou and Dylan possibly going to the UFC, and then Ngannou coming to the ring to fight Dylan. I'm sure you've been keeping up and looking at all the rumours about it, and you spoke to Dylan about it, I'm guessing, as well, the Francis Ngannou stuff.
No, I've not spoke to Dylan about it. I don't know nothing about, with all due respect, I don't know nothing about MMA boxing, to tell the truth, fighting. It's not my scene, so I can't really speak on it. I mean, I haven't spoken to Dillian about it. First thing I knew about it was Dillian's guy come up to me the other day in the gym in Portugal and said, we're looking at fighting this guy, this Francis guy, top MMA fighter. And my reaction was, what is this, before Povetkin or after? So he said, I'll show you it anyway. So I had a look at the guy on the phone on YouTube, and yeah, it looks a little bit wild. It looks a little bit open, but it looks very, very tasty, I must say. But I can't comment on a sport or a craft I'm not really. And I'm not up to date with it. It's not my thing. MMA fighting. It's a skill and it's a craft. And what I've seen of it, it is a skill and a craft and an art. So you've got to respect that. But I know nothing about MMA fighting. To tell the truth, I'm not going to make it. I'll do.
Neither do I, to be honest, Mark. In terms of Alexander Povetkin, do you think on paper this is Dylan's toughest test, apart from obviously the Anthony Joshua fight, but that was early on in his career? But in terms of your Rivas's, your Parkers, do you think Povetkin is like the best guy Dylan's had on his record so far?
Definitely, for sure. It's not only his resume, his amateur experience, and all of them things. He's very, very, his IQ is on it. His IQ is on it. He's got power as well. He's got speed, and he's got the pedigree. So I'd say to date, this is Dillian's probably his for sure his most experienced fighter to date, and you know, because of his amateur pedigree, and you know, he was an Olympian, and his professional experience as well. We've got a bit of youth on him that gives us a little bit of the edge, so that's a good thing.
Mark, be brutally honest here. Do you think all going well against Alexander Povetkin and Dylan comes through that Dylan gets that WBC title shot in February next year when he's promised to have it?
I hope so. I hope so. Otherwise, Mauricio Sulaiman is continually embarrassing himself, and I think, yeah, I'd hope so. And you know, I pray to God it happens if we get through Povetkin, for sure. Why not? It should do. And I think any of them fights up there, whether it's Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, or Deontay Wilder, he's ready for him now, Dillian. He's ready for him.
Of course, we've spoken to Dylan so many times over God knows how many days it's been now about how frustrating this has been. But we haven't really spoke too much about this, Mark. Has it been on a personal level for yourself, you know, putting countless hours in the gym with Dylan day after day, that you're still waiting on this shot when, you know, there's an argument that you should have had it about a year ago already? How frustrating has it been for you, Mark?
Well, listen, none of yous, with all due respect, none of yous will know the journey that myself and Dillian Whyte and you know his closest members of his team that we've done since I started with Dillian. We done a spell at West Ham, we done a spell at the Peacock Gym, the private gym there, but Dillian set up camp in Loughborough University, where I travelled continuously for years. I camped there as well, but I mainly travelled it. I had a lot going on in my own life. You know, my new baby was born, and I had some deaths in the families, but I continued with my work with Dillian regardless, and got my head down. And through that hard work from Dillian and myself and the businessmen and a few members of the team, we got results, and we climbed our way to the #1 spot, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. So yeah. Of course, I'm disappointed with Mauricio Sulaiman himself, and watching him change the goalposts from time to time, and watching how he communicates with Dillian, and he don't really mean it. It looks like to me. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm going to take one fight every time. I've got my nut down with whoever's put in front of us, and I've gave my input, regardless who we should fight at certain times. But Dillian's, no one could be more disappointed than Dillian Whyte himself, and what he's been through. And you know, we've all been through there with him. You know what I'm saying? So of course we're disappointed and frustrated, but we ain't gonna drop our guard down now. We won't give up. We'll keep going, and we'll do what it takes to you know, when it comes, we'll do what it takes to get the result that we want.
I think there is hopefully a good chance we'll see Dylan in with either Anthony or Tyson next year. Let me ask you this, Mark. Of course, Tyson and Anthony are regarded as #1 and #2 in the world right now. They're seen as the best of this era. If Dylan was to go in the ring with either Tyson or Anthony tomorrow, of course they're massive challenges, but what do you see as the easier challenges? I know none of them's easier, but what's the more winnable fight in your mind when you're breaking it down for Dylan and seeing how to go about it, Anthony or Tyson?
Well, for me, they're all difficult fights when you're world #1. But there's no preferences between. There's no preferences from myself between Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua. There are two different approaches to fighting them two different styles, and I'm very, very confident and in Dillian Whyte adopting and adapting to the two different styles. I'll say that with my hand on my heart. It's just getting him down to his right weight, Dillian, that is, and get him in the right frame of mind and the right people around him, and he will do that with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And either or either of them, I haven't got a preference. You know, I really haven't, honestly haven't got a preference. But he has to adapt. He has to adapt, and I'm confident he's competent in adapting to the style. But he's got to adopt and adapt from the get go. You know, from the get go. And yeah, so that's it. I think probably the AJ would probably easier to make, I guess, wouldn't it? You think so, Umar? What do you think?
Well, I think whoever's got the WBC belt, so, you know, Fury and Joshua, we expect to be fighting for the WBC next year if Fury beats Wilder again, if Joshua beats Pulev. So whoever's got the BC, Dylan should have a shot at them next year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool.
In terms of the first fight between Dylan and Anthony, I know you weren't involved in that, but Dylan was so raw in that fight, and so was Anthony to some degree, to be fair. Yeah. How much do you think they've both developed, to be fair, Dylan and Anthony, since then?
For sure, they've both developed, without a doubt. You know, looking back at the Joshua Dillian Whyte fight, the professional fight, for me, he headhunted a little bit too much. He headhunted a little bit too much in that fight, and when he did clip AJ, he looked a little bit novice-y when he clipped him, after he clipped him. But that is through that's because of, you know, where he was in his career, experience-wise. So if this time come again, although they've both moved on, I really feel that, with all due respect, Anthony's, you know, he's not got weaker, but we've all seen some weaknesses there in his later two fights, and with Dillian, he's just got stronger in every area, and that gives me more confidence in that fight if that was to happen, for sure.
You see that night, obviously, where Anthony lost against Andy Ruiz last year. Do you believe if Dylan was in that ring with Anthony, the outcome would have been the same, where Dylan knocks Anthony out?
I don't really want to talk about that. It's pointless. It's pointless. I'm not saying I'm undervaluing your question there, but, you know, it's irrelevant. What's happened. We're here where we're here right now, and yeah. So, you know, I don't really want to answer that question, if you don't mind, Umar.
No, that's fine, Mark. That's fine. Out of interest, who do you see winning that fight between Fury and Joshua? That's made.
Fury and Joshua. Joshua's got a puncher's chance, but Fury's the better boxer. You know, I ain't got to tell you that. Fury's the better natural boxer. But AJ's got a puncher's chance. I mean, he's a proper warrior, AJ, when it comes down to it. You know, I ain't got to tell you that. Heavyweight boxing, yourself, you know. So, but it'd be a good fight if it comes off. Joe, I couldn't put it's anyone's fight. It's anyone's fight. You know, it all happens on the night. It all happens about. It's all about the, you know, having good camps and no injuries and things like that. So it'd be a good fight if they both have brilliant camps. It's going to be a brilliant fight, and that's the fight that we want to see, I guess.
Just lastly, Mark, how's Richard Riakporhe doing?
Richard Riakporhe, I spoke to him a little while ago. He's in a great place in his head. He's realistic about the situation, what's going on right now, but he's looking after himself. Yeah, he's all right. I'm getting excited about getting back to work with him as well, and him trying to, hopefully he'll defend that British title a couple of times, get some experience before he moves on. But yeah, he's all right, Richard. He's good.
We know Coley's expected a world title shot when boxing's back. Do you think we're gearing towards next year a massive showdown between Coley and Riakporhe, Mark?
Well, I'd like to think so. But yeah, why not? Of course, be a great fight, great British affair, definitely. Especially if he wins that title, be brilliant, be brilliant.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks for your time today. Are you going to get out to Portugal again, or are you going to stay in London now?
Well, I was expected out there this week. I was expected out this week. I've got a couple of things to sort out. I should have them sorted out today. With my business side of it. So hopefully, we can. I can get myself out there before the end of the week for sure. Definitely, I hope so. Anyway,
Yeah,
depending on this date, how this date is, but we're all in the same boat. So we'll see.
Well, the weather's definitely going to be better in Portugal than what it is in your background. So, yeah, I don't blame you.
Absolutely.
All right, Mark. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll speak soon. All right, take care.
Thank you, Umar. Take care, mate. All the best. Bye.